Hello, welcome to the TV room. David Bradley here. When you find the system, it's funny, I remember when I was back at Electronics 2001, like 40 years ago. It's like, oh, it's not just the 64, it's the system. Anyway, but when you find a 64 that somebody has had for a long time, and that they have finally decided, okay, that's it. Chances are, besides the 64 and maybe a disk drive and maybe a monitor, maybe a printer, and maybe other stuff, you will find that they have other things. And indeed, I recently did get a couple of 64s, and there were other things, which I put into bags, and I have not explored until now. And first off, things are fighting to come out of the bag. Oh, look, it is printer paper. Value. Computer paper. One part left and right vertical perforation. Attached to 8.5 by 11, of course, razor edged 500 sheets. And it was bought at um, a fine Canadian computer retailer, otherwise known as Canadian Tire. And if we look in here, oh, it's a little bit yellowed, or at least the top is, but it looks mighty full. And this is the kind of paper that's absolutely necessary if you have an old printer that has a tractor feed. And that is what a lot of them have. I'm just trying to rip one page off. And then I will put the top back on. Yes, it is aged and vintage. So this paper is probably, well, between 30 and 40 years old. I don't know if you can see how not white it is. And of course, as everybody knows, well, at least from back in the day knows, here we have the holes. And yes, they come off. A great day for recycling. And there's the paper. And as I have a bag for recycling just over here, I will toss that in. So, what else is in this bag? Well, I don't know. I will find out. There are books, some of which I suspect I have, and some probably not. Aha! Well, here's something. Commodore 64 Vic-20 Basic. Richard Haskell and Thomas Weindenite, or something like that. There it is. It's a big book. And what does it say? Where are my glasses? It says, this easy-to-use book provides beginning and advanced programmers with a hands-on step-by-step approach to programming a Commodore 64 or VIC-20 in BASIC, complete with actual photographs taken of the computer's video screens. Commodore 64 VIC-20 BASIC uses graphical examples to develop many fundamental programming concepts. I have the concept of a plan. This unique teaching method gives you the opportunity to actually see a direct visual picture of what the program is doing. What's more, the comprehensive introduction features numerous examples to help you write your own programs for specific applications. Ideal for self-study or classroom instruction, Commodore 64 VIC-20 BASIC includes value information on drawing simple graphic figures, like those shown here, string variables and string functions, loops and arrays, writing a hangman word game, developing a Commodore 64/VIC-20 organ that plays 3 octaves of musical notes, and much more. So Richard Haskell holds a PhD from Oh, it's hyphenated. Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and is a professor of engineering and chairman of electrical and computer engineering at Oakland University in Michigan. He has written 5 other Prentice Hall books entitled Apple II. Yeah. Thomas Windenite holds a PhD from Case Western Reserve University and is a computer science professor at Oakland University in Michigan. Interesting. Here is the back of the book. Have I ever seen this book before? Never. Never, ever, 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 ever. Let's just see what we have. Library of Congress. Da-da-da-da. This book is available at a special discount when ordered in bulk quantities. 1983. No part of this book may be... So, is this the first printing? I don't know. But it does look, as they say, it has pictures of the screen. And, oh, and what's even better is the listings, and I'll see if you can see this here. The listings, see, a lot of magazines made mistakes in that they put listings in that they typeset instead of just using the printer. Because when typesetting gets involved, that's when errors happen. So even though the typesetting looks prettier than the dot matrix printer thing, things go bad. They do. So here's another book. Interesting. This is the Programmer's Reference Guide about the Commodore 64. Wow. And you know what? I have other versions of, and right up here, I have, just a moment, get it. I wonder. I have, don't drop things. This is another Commodore 64 Programmer's Reference Guide. It has the spiral bound thing, which I think makes it easier to open. Because you see, look, I can set this down and say, look at this. But is this the same? See, this is the Programmer's Reference Guide produced by Commodore. And this is published by Commodore Business Machines. Now, is this the same? Published by Commodore Business Machines. And if I look inside, first edition, 19th printing, 1987. Okay. 19th printing. So yes, this does, and I look at it, the pages do look to be the same. Now, are they the same number of pages? I don't know. One thing this does say on here is that it includes the Commodore 64C, which of course this machine didn't even know what that was. Oh, there's a subscription card in the back if you want to do the Commodore magazine thing. How many pages are in this? 486 or so. It may be bigger. Oh yeah, it's bigger. This one here has 334. And right at the back, there's also a page that it actually rips out. It's a Commodore 64 quick reference card. Cool. So updated and done for Commodore, but by Howard W. Sam's company. Interesting. It's funny. I'm thinking that I will gather up a bunch of things to come to sell at the World of Commodore. The World of Commodore. What is that, you say? Well, it's a show put on by the Toronto Pet Users Group, and it will be on November 30th and December the 1st of 2024 at the Admiral Inn in Mississauga, Ontario, not far from Toronto. Actually, just kind of like a little subsection of Toronto, which I'm sure people in Mississauga don't like hearing, but that's the way it is. And, yeah, go to tpug.ca for details. But I will be there. Rudy from Rudy's Retro Info will be there. RetroRewind.ca will be there. Lots of people will be there. If you've always wanted to get back into the game and have your own Commodore 64, your Vic-20, or your 120, or your pet, chances are if the thing isn't there, probably somebody who is there, who you talk to, might have such a thing. And um, who knows? I mean, you can always check Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace, but this is the place to be. And especially if you're wanting to catch up on books and things and add to your library, here is one. And this is something I would be tempted to bring. It's the manual for the Vic-1541. And what does it say on the front? Yes, it does actually say 1541. It's in lovely, lovely shape. There it is. And this would have been, if you look at the picture, this is when it really was the Vic disk drive. Maybe this is before the Commodore 64 came out. Now, what do we have here? Home Computers, a Beginner's Guide. And what is on the front? Well, that's interesting. To me, it looks like a TRS-80. But maybe they were afraid that the TRS-80 people wouldn't like the fact that they had their name on the front, so it's just something about E2. I have no idea what that is, but to me, a friend of mine had a TRS-80, and that's a TRS-80. Anyway, this was bought from another fine store. Was it a computer store? No, it was a bookstore. Kohl's. Owned. And oh, look, the back is the same as the front. There's the picture of the manual. Now, have I ever seen this book before? No, I have not. I know nothing of it. Nothing at all. Oh, it's actually produced by Kohl's. How to use this book. Home computers, some notes and applications. Introduction to microcomputer systems and applications. The memory dilemma. Number systems. Home computer glossary. Some symbols you should know, and a little bit of logic. Interesting. And it too is in stunning shape. Made by Kohl's. Home computer glossary. Let's just look at page 59 a second here and see what we see here. Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought it might have pictures of, it has some pictures in here. But they are not great. Some of them. When was this done? I don't know when this was done. It doesn't seem to have a date. Oh well. Interesting. For any library. Now here's, of course, the Commodore 64 User's Guide. This came with every Commodore 64. So there are millions of these out there. Or there were millions of these out here. Millions and millions and millions. This is from 1983, first edition, fourth printing. Indeed. And that is, a lot of them look like this. This was the original one, definitely. Oh, wait a second. I see an original right down here. Was different. Let me just move this aside. This is what I remembered. It came with mine. It had a silver label 64 on the front. And it also came with this probably came with the one in there that had the early thing. This could be, aha, this must be a first printing. It must be, because it doesn't say anything otherwise. Anyway, basically, the same book. Actually, this one has the metal kind of squirrely binding thing, which I think is better than the plastic. But anyway, still, I think this one was used more, and this one is very pristine. So here we have Basic Compiler 64. Made by Abacus. I'm assuming that somewhere I will have the disk that goes with this. Basic Compiler 64. Getting started. Interesting. Alright, what else is here? The Commodore 64 Vic-20 Basic Handbook by Douglas Hergert. Lovely graphic on the front. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Have I ever seen this book before? No, never. Commodore 64 / Vic-20 Basic Handbook. Excuse me. This handy computer reference will make programming your Commodore 64 or Vic-20 easier, whether you're an experienced programmer or a first-time user. This unique book lists and explains in alphabetical order each one of the Commodore computer basic commands and functions. Explanations include special tips and suggestions for using the basic vocabulary to make programming as simple and efficient as possible. Information you won't find in other manuals. Sample programs show you how to use the commands in their proper syntax. Nothing like a syntax error. And sample output screens show exactly what the commands do. Learn the best way to use for-then loops, if-then statements, subroutines. Use special mathematical functions such as ABS for calculating absolute value, EXP for calculating exponents. You'll find clear and simple explanations for important general vocabulary terms such as algorithm, array, interactive. Find out what an assignment statement is and how you can make one in BASIC. This book makes it easy to program your Commodore 64 or VIC-20 to do a multitude of convenient home and office tasks. Anyway, Douglas Hergert is a freelance writer. He is the author of these Cybex publications: the Apple II Basic Handbook, the Timex Sinclair 1000 Basic Handbook, your Timex Sinclair 1000 and ZX81 Basic for Business, and Mastering VisiCalc. He is the co-author of Apple Pascal Games and Doing Business with Pascal, and the translator of XT Bowie's Executive Planning with Basic. Interesting. Never seen it before. It's in pristine shape. And 1983. I guess it doesn't say anything about second printing, third printing, so it's probably the first printing. It is. Anyway, always good to have a lovely image on the front. Lovely. So that is the start of looking through the other things that came with this 64. I'm sure, well, I know I've got 2 more bags to look through. I will do that. Perhaps tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.